What is execution context? So execution context in JavaScript is the environment where the JavaScript code is executed. By environment, I mean the value of the this, variables, objects, and the functions the JavaScript code has access to. There are three types of execution context: global execution context, function execution context, and the eval execution context. So let's look into the concept. Let's say we have an index.js file which we are going to load in the browser. So initially what happens is the browser creates a global execution context and it starts reading the code. Let's say we have a code here for variable and we have two functions. One is add function, another is the display function. So the global execution context has got the access to all of this. So global execution context is the default execution context in which the JavaScript code starts its execution when the file is first loaded in the browser. The global execution context cannot be more than one. Now let's look at the functional execution context. The functional execution context is the context created by the execution of code inside a function. So here you can see function add1 and function display have functional execution context. So we can have more than one functional execution context and they have all access to the global execution context. So the function add1 here has got its own functional execution context and also has access to this variable num1 from the global execution context. Similarly, the function display has its own functional execution context and it also has access to the global execution context here. So what happens when this all things are executed? So while executing a global execution context, the JavaScript engine finds a function call, and whenever it finds a function call, it will create a new function execution context for that function. Now, how does JavaScript keep track of how different functional execution context and the global execution context execute? For that, the JS engine uses something called as a call stack, which we will explore in the upcoming videos. Until then, goodbye. Thank you.